In a little town filled with cozy cottages and flower gardens lived a curious girl named Rachelle. She was never without a book in her hand or a question in her mind. While other children ran through fields, Rachelle sat beneath her favourite oak tree with her nose in a story. Fairy tales were her favourite. She dreamed of castles that touched the clouds, dragons with emerald scales, and fairies that sprinkled glittering dust. But one evening, as she turned the last page of her book, she sighed. "Oh, how I wish fairy tales were real. I want to see the magic, not just read about it." That night, a silver moonbeam slid through her window and touched her pillow. Rachelle blinked awake and gasped. Standing at the foot of her bed was a tiny fairy with wings that shimmered like raindrops in sunlight. "Why do you look so sad, little dreamer?" the fairy asked in a voice as soft as wind chimes. "I love fairy tales," whispered Rachelle, "but they only live in books. I want to discover magic for real." The fairy twirled, sprinkling stardust in the air. "Magic is real," she giggled. "You just need imagination. Close your eyes, hold my hand, and let your mind paint the world." Rachelle closed her eyes. When she opened them again, she stood in a shimmering kingdom. Towers of candy sparkled under a rainbow sky. Trees bore cupcakes for fruit. Talking animals waved as she passed. "Wow!" Rachelle gasped. "I imagined this?" "Yes," the fairy beamed. "Your imagination can build worlds brighter than any storybook." They wandered deeper. A golden dragon flapped overhead, not fierce but friendly. "Would you like a ride?" it boomed. Rachelle nodded eagerly, and soon she was soaring above mountains of chocolate and rivers of soda pop, laughing with delight. But suddenly the sky grew dim. A tall, shadowy figure appeared at the edge of the kingdom. It was the Doubter, a creature of smoke and whispers. "You don't belong here," the Doubter hissed. "Fairy tales aren't real. Imagination is foolish." Rachelle's heart pounded. She wanted to run, but the fairy squeezed her hand. "Remember, imagination is stronger than doubt." Rachelle stood tall. "Fairy tales may not live in the world, but they live in me, and with imagination I can create anything." She closed her eyes and imagined a shield of light. It glowed around her, pushing the Doubter back. With one last sparkle, the creature dissolved into nothing. When Rachelle opened her eyes again, she was back in her bed. The fairy waved goodbye from the moonbeam. "Remember, little dreamer," she whispered, "every time you imagine, you discover magic." The next morning, Rachelle ran to the oak tree, carrying her book. But this time, she didn't just read the fairy tale, she added her own. In her mind, she built castles, befriended dragons, and fought shadows with light. And she learned that magic didn't live only in books or dreams. It lived inside her imagination, waiting to be discovered. Imagination is a powerful gift. It lets you create new worlds and solve problems. Believe in your own creativity. Doubt can't win when you trust yourself. Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Bye.